Welcome back to the AM show. Now time to look at stories making headlines in the newspapers. And first I have the Ghanaian Times. Normally I start with the Daily Graphic. I think it's gone down
Daily
here.
Graphic should be here. Yeah,
okay,
there.
And we have Traj Boss faces probe. It's boldly. And we have the Traj Boss's picture here. Traj Boss faces probe. And then on top of it, we have Bukom Banco charged with assault and armed robbers kill cop in shootout. With the Traj Boss, we told Justice Enini Yeboah heads 5-member committee to investigate her issue. We'll be going into the story shortly and looking at what exactly she's going to be facing. Is it her causing financial loss to the state, or what exactly is she going to face, or what is the issue to be probed? We'll look into that. Have you read the story?
Just a bit of it, not the entire thing. But
I know.
But it's just about, you know, these things that came up about she abusing her office and all. So the committee is actually going to sit and peruse some of the issues raised. You know, a prima facie case was established early on.
Yeah.
So they're going to peruse them and see whether there are any merits in these particular things. And probably if there are sanctions, then why not?
Wish her best of luck.
Indeed, we do.
Probe. And at the back page of the Daily Graphic, we have President Mahama marks 2 years in office. And you can see him with some cocoa farmers there. 2 years in office.
2 years of the president's administration. I'm sure you'll be doing much more about that on
one of the issues boggling my mind this morning is the armed robbers that have killed a cop in a shootout. And I ask myself, what is wrong with us as a country? Because I thought that the police, which is not a private institution that may lack resources, it's a government, a public agency, security agency. So how, I mean, did an armed robber become more powerful than the police?
You see,
is it that we don't have the enough weapons or enough equipment for the police to work with and, you know, go injury-free, or, you know, not to face this kind of situations? Or is it that the police themselves lack training, that the police will fall prey to the armed robber? Well,
what I gather from the story is that it was an exchange of, it was a gunfighter, so an exchange of fire and all, and in the end, one policeman, you know, in such things, obviously there are casualties, so one policeman actually fell prey to this particular one. And apparently 2 robbers were also killed in the process. Yes, and some have been arrested, a few others have also bolted. I think there were quite a number of... Shoot one, get 2 in reply, that's the police. But it also has, that's the picture on the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. It's the very same story. It has pictures of those who were arrested, about 6 of them, or so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Some very nice gentlemen. But nowadays, you don't know what happens. Also on the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper, you have a picture of Dr. Anthony Akutose. 3 MPs lose case against GNPC. I'm sure you heard much more on that yesterday on News Desk and on News Today with Kemini Nyamani Amano. Again, all-female guard for presidency and 20 fine for going free range. So for those of you who prefer the insurance things, you go and do your free range things. Yeah.
And
you might be arrested soon and fined subsequently. And 1 more nabbed over police enlistment scan. Okay, let me just come back to, okay, so to the back page now. Okay, just like you read, President marks 2nd anniversary on Cocoa Farm. And the big one rather, 28 million Ghana Cedi Ashanti Regional Police Clinic project takes off.
That's good news, isn't it? That's good news.
Yeah. It's high time we actually...
It takes off, but let's see how it unfolds. How soon will it be completed? Is it that it's going to be, you're going to cut the sword for commissioning and then forever we'll not see the clinic
Those are the questions.
erected?
Those are the questions a lot of people do ask.
We're praying that it won't come to that.
Sure. We are told some corporate bodies have actually brought in some money, so we are
So on the Daily Guide this morning, we're told that the NPP wowed over cocaine ruby. And we can see the picture of His Excellency, the President. What is written there is that I danced and prayed for Dumso Yentio says Mahama. I wonder if he really said that.
Anyway.
Well, we'll go into the story and really find out if indeed our president really said that.
That he danced and prayed for Dumsor?
And Robert Kilcock, because if there's anything to go by, I think that he's rather said that he's working around the clock to make sure that we don't experience Dumsor in 2015. And he wants to curb it forever. And so I'll be surprised to hear him say, I prayed for Dumsor.
Which newspaper is that?
In the Daily Guide in Sylvia. And then the 45 million judgment debt against NLA looms, and you have Mona Cote, she's a deputy minister of finance. You have a picture
$45 million?
Yes, $45 million judgment debt against NLA. And then Robert Kilcock. We don't have anything at the back page here. What do you have?
Okay, on the Al Hajj newspaper, let me pick. You can see the pictures of some ministers, and beneath that, JM's reshuffle finally here. Massive shake-up expected at ministries and co. You can see it over there.
All the ministers,
quite a number of ministers. We are told some will be, most of them are going to be reshuffled. Others are going to be kicked out, probably for inefficiencies or for God knows what. And also on the front page of the newspaper, it has Nana Komia, and it says, when politics turn dirty, a Komia NPP target Lodina and Ibrahim Mahama too. So that's on the Al Hajj newspaper.
On the Daily Heritage, NPP roasts Krobo chief for declaring support for NDC. And 3 MPs thrown out. Who are those? I think we'll find out.
Antonio Koto say
over $700 million GNPC loan. And local manufacturer slams importation of China electricity poles. We'll be getting into the issues pretty soon and look at...
Aisha, before you drop that particular paper, that's the Daily Heritage, I think I saw a story somewhere. Maybe you can help us with that.
Hey,
maybe let's just do a bit of that particular one. I saw a story. I saw the story and I was really surprised.
Hunters invade Ashaman. Information gathered by the Daily Heritage reveals that some money-hardy men are roaming the streets of Ashaman in flashy cars, making feverish attempts to lure young ladies to collect the semen of promiscuous men for a fee. The ladies' job is simply to have sex with any man expressing interest in them, soak the sperms after ejaculation in a handkerchief and mix it with a blackish substance provided by the money makers, and every handkerchief soaked with such sperm costs 2,000 cedis.
I think
explaining her ordeal to the paper in an interview,
we can move on from
a 21-year-old senior high school leaver said the sperm hunters often target girls who are needy and are desperately looking for help.
2,000 Ghana cedis per handkerchief. Just get a handkerchief. Just get some promiscuous man who can't keep his things in between his legs.
They have to be careful because now you've been alerted that this is what is happening. So just try to zip it up.
You see, what I picked from this is that they target areas where there's poverty, quote unquote, people who are challenged, people who really need money. And
that's where they get those, the ladies to get themselves involved. But if they don't get any man coming to tell them that I want to unzip, it won't happen.
Zip up.
So zip up.
Zip up.
And
that's it.
We'll get the problem solved.
Okay. So anyway, that was an interesting one there.
My director says that the lady should also close it up.
To the front page of the Today newspaper, and it says PPP opens nominations for national officers' positions. You can see on the front page the picture of Kofi Asamoah, who happens to be a PPP national secretary. Also, there's Mahama falls flat on promises in first 2 years in office.
Says.
Okay. So that's according to the Today newspaper. So also Ghana caught in debt trap. All those
in debt trap. And then on the
Today newspaper.
On the Chronicle this morning, World Bank blacklists Zoomlion. World Bank blacklists Zoomlion over corruption and fraud. And then Mahama failed in most subjects. Minister Tony Letha chased NLA for $45 million, and falling oil prices to throw government budget off gear. All of these and more And at the back of the chronicle, Grant has a big task, Tony Bafo. And Asamoah Gyan takes break from music until, I guess, after the march. And police release Bukom Banku. We'll be getting into those issues pretty shortly.
Finally, on the front page of the New Independent newspaper, says Speaker cautions MPs. Speaker cautions MPs, and it says the honeymoon will soon be over. So for some of the members of Parliament who we are told pass quote-unquote reckless comments, you'll be dragged before Parliament to answer certain questions. I hear the ethics are out now, so you have been reported from Parliament. The code of ethics
for MPs. But even before the code of conduct came, they had a disciplinary privileges committee.
Yeah.
So what has the privileges committee been doing that MPs, just say anything they want, especially on the floor of the House?
Probably because there wasn't anything guiding them. I mean, they said, we didn't have anything guiding us, so we didn't know it was an error.
They'll be riding on the back. Well, the code of conduct is in, but let's also look at what punitive measures it comes along with. It could just be that it's a reference point or it's just a guide, but really, it wouldn't really provide any punishment or anything. So let's look into the code of conduct. What is the code of conduct really saying with regards to people who do not conform to the code of conduct? Then we know we are making a headway. So, of course, we'll read the code of conduct and then we'll compare it with the speaker saying that the days of honeymoon are over.
They are over. This time round.
We hope so.
If you like safing, that's what someone will say. Cafe. Anyway.
And the Daily Express this morning saying, we borrow for development. Mahama. Yeah. I want to read the story. Where is it? Page,
he was basically saying,
we borrow for development. And you can see President Mahama here with his what is this? Protective?
This is a protective gear. That's a helmet.
Okay.
Yeah.
President John Mahama has once again stated that his government does not just borrow from development partners for borrowing's sake, but to advance the developmental needs of the country. According to the president, loans taken by the government are used to embark on developmental projects in the country, but not to enrich people's pockets. Answering a question in an exclusive interview with Kwame Dinkwa, one of Kumasi's established radio broadcasters at the seat of government, and yesterday, President Mahama cited the Ichuabu gas plant, the Barekese Dam project, the Kmon water expansion project, and others as example of what the loans are used for. So that brings back to the water projects. The Adenta people, are they still having the water or it's on and off?
Are they? I can't tell. I don't really know. But,
so that's what
I think the situation has improved anyway.
And then we can also see the picture of Minister for with children and gender protection, social protection, Nano Elisa, and he says national aging bill in the offing. I think I saw her talk a while ago that I think the aged will not pay certain thing for transport, public transport.
Yeah, there's going to be some sort of subsidy for them, for the aged when they use the commercial vehicles, particularly the Metro Mass
I
buses.
think we need to do more for the aged, because the aged in this country really, we don't really, probably because we don't have a policy that really dictates what we should do for the aged, or I really don't know, but the aged needs to be treated, but we need to do more for them. But this is a good step.
Yeah, provided
we're hoping to see more.
Provided we're able to see it through, obviously.
President witnesses all-female change of guard. Interesting. What men can do, women can do better. With excellence.
Better.
The Syrian refugees in Lebanon.
I see.
We have all of that on the Express.
Please, and then at
the back page, we have our own president there,
once again.
And they are congratulating him. Aiko for 2 years.
Aisha tells me what men can do, women can do and do better.
With excellence.
With excellence. What women can do, men, we can do. As to whether it's better,
you've always been doing it, so it's no news.
Oh, I'm speaking to Patricia saying what men can do. Men can do and do better.
Okay,
anyway.
So those are the headlines, news-making headlines in the newspapers. One of the interesting ones I read was the loan issue, that
the GNPC loan.
We borrow for, I mean, the president saying that we borrow for developmental, and that we don't, definitely, of course, we go for loans, but, and people don't, the purpose of the loan normally is not for people to along the line, we've had issues and we've had evidence to say that, okay, or to suggest, or we've had reasons to suggest that people are pocketing. But that not to say the loans have not been used.
I'm sure you'll be speaking much more about that particular one on AM Talk. The guests are already in. Obviously, the people making rounds, the people who actually make news in the country, they are actually here. They'll be having a tete-a-tete with Aisha Ibrahim, speaking to some of the numerous things in the newspapers, particularly the loan issue she mentioned. So do stay tuned. We'll be right back. But after that, I'm going back to ECG. Yesterday we did something on the ECG. Today we are continuing on that same tangent. I'll be with Mike Ewa, who is a member of the PSP. That will be on my banner. But up next now is Aisha Ibrahim with AM Talk.